Hey, welcome back to West Coast Mopars. Today on the channel, this is a 62 Plymouth Belvedere. It's a four-door. It's a Canadian car, so again it's got a 313 poly. It is a push-button automatic, four-wheel drums, manual steering. I'm not sure the full story on this car. It's not mine. I had a young guy, Campbell River owns it. He had it trailered up here or down here, I guess we're south of him. Sorry, trailered down here to get me to do some work on it. He's having an issue with the starter. He can't get it aligned or something. I've got to do the brakes, and I guess the cowl underneath the dash has some holes have rusted through, and so it leaks onto the floor when it rains hard. But I haven't really done much. I just started I put the starter back in. There is a starter in it, and it's your regular LA 318, 340, everything. Big block, same starter. That's what's in it. I don't know if that's the right one for it, but when I looked in the service manual, it does show that one. And I just looked at my 65 Fargo. It also has a 313, and it's got the same starter. So without pulling that little, the little spacer plate, that's sort of also kind of an inspection cover, and really taking a look and making sure the teeth line up. I just bolted it back in, and I'll see what it does, but thought I'd do a walk around here. So 62s, they were a B body, and the Belvedere continued to be a B body, but the opposition, the 62 Dodge, you could get the Dart, which was a B body, but you could also get a Polara, which looked the same, but different trim levels and stuff. It's a pretty neat car, actually. You definitely don't see these very often. It's got this neat grille. This grille's in amazing shape too. It doesn't look like it's ever even been, maybe one little spot there I can see where it's been dinged in, but all these years and that grille has survived. It's got a little bit of rust starting up in the corners here where all the dirt shoots up. Pretty neat trim. The interior is actually in quite nice shape too. The door panels are good. It's got this pretty neat dash. I know the 62 Dart had a very similar dash, maybe the same. The steering wheel's in great shape. It's got an original radio. A little bit of, the sun visors they've seen better days, but they're pretty hard to find, not falling apart like that. But the headliner's in great shape. I don't know what shape the floors are in, but I think it's actually still got the original, looks like maybe the original rubber floor mats, but I don't know if you can see there's some water pooling there. We had a bit of rain this morning, so that's what he was talking about. It looks like it probably just rolled over 101,000 miles. That would be my guess, maybe 200, but judging by the brake pedal not being completely worn away, I'd say probably 100. But all in all, the seats look like they were probably redone. This fabric's quite loose fitting on the seats here, and you look down at the vinyl here, it's got a wrinkle. Yeah, they're seat covers. Oh, that's what they are. They're nice. They're seat covers, so I wonder what the originals look like underneath them. I don't want to pull them up. I don't want to wreck his seat covers, but I wonder what it looks like underneath. But pretty neat car. You don't see 62 Plymouths driving around every day. And then under the hood here, it looks like maybe the car used to be white actually, not that, maybe it's just primer, that gray. Looks like it probably used to be a white car. And there's your I think it's a 313 poly, not a 318 yet. But inner fenders are in nice shape. It's got the washer bag, it's probably rock hard. Oh, it's actually quite soft. You don't see that very often. Battery tray, everything is pretty good shape under here. Still got a generator. I believe it's still got points. I know he's pulled some of the plug wires off. I think he pulled a couple plugs. I'm not sure what he was thinking was going on, but the more I dig into it, I'll find out. Yeah, I'll just try putting that starter. I got the starter in, so I just got to get a good fresh battery. That's the other thing, get a dead battery, and I wonder if maybe he was thinking that the starter was bad from a dead battery. I'm not sure. Maybe it was really slow to turn over. But I'll grab a fresh battery and see what happens. Okay, so all I did was I did put his starter back in. This was his starter. But it was very slow to crank. It was very tired. So, and even now, it's been out. I took it out about 20 minutes ago and it's still pretty hot. So it wasn't happy. The ground was pretty bad under here, so I just took it off, cleaned it. I mean, this wire was just getting cooking hot. He had taken the plugs out for some reason, I don't know why, so I put the plugs back in. 2 of his plug wires were broken on the ends, so even if it started, it would have ran on, say, 6 cylinders, if it would have even run. I moved the rod on his accelerator pump. It was on the other hole. It just didn't seem to be pumping enough gas. I put this coil in because it was gone. He had taken the hose clamps off. I'm not sure why. So it was leaking there. So I just did a few things. We'll turn in a key. Oh, and I put a different starter in. A starter that I had up on the shelf. It has a core. Works better than his, so here we go. Much better sound. And fired right up, right on. Runs pretty good, actually. Well, the puking gas out there. I'll have to fix that. More gas puking out. Seems to be running pretty smooth. It's a little cold today. It's about 8 degrees outside right now, Celsius, so it's probably the condensation, but who knows when it was last run. I'll try putting it in gear. I don't know if the transmission works. He did ask me to do the brakes. I'm not sure if they work or not. He's got lots of pedal. Oh, goes into drive. I don't know what he was complaining about. Seems to work fine to me. I'll have to see if he's got insurance on it. I might have to take it for a drive. It's got the park lever under there. This is it here. We got headlights and stuff. Oh yeah. Very cool. Well, if that's all he wanted me to do, that was pretty easy. I do have to fix that cowl leak for him. I'm not sure what it looks like under there. I mean, I'll check his brakes, but if they don't need to be done, I mean, what's the point in spending money when you don't have to? Even his dash lights work. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm just out here working on the dark in the Belvedere. I just got the car jacked up, so I put the starter in. I don't know how the guy wasn't getting it lined up, but something about shims. He kept saying he was shimming the top and the bottom. I don't know why he was shimming it, but I just put it in directly, no shims, flat up against the bell housing, and it's all good. Runs awesome. So I'm just popping off these dust caps. He said he wants me to take a look at the brakes. They feel fine to me, but I haven't actually opened them up, so I'm just going to take a look. Okay, wow, there's a ton of grease in there. There's also a ton of debris. Ooh. So the shoes, yeah, I think the brakes, wheel cylinders must be leaking because the inside of the drum is pretty wet. And then just take a closer look here on the wheel cylinders. You peel back. Yeah, see, they're all, I don't know if you guys can see that in there. They're soaking wet inside. See this one? No, I don't know if you can see it. See if the light picks it up any. I'm just doing this in the dark. Okay, wheel cylinder's leaking, so there we go. He was correct. The brakes are needing attention. And we also picked up brake hoses because these hoses are also, they look pretty rock hard. So yeah, I'm just going to go around and pop the front drums off. The rears will be interesting because the rears are tapered axles, so yeah, I'll have to get the puller, use the hub puller and pull the rears off. But alright, well, I'm just going to strip these down and clean it up. Okay, I've stripped down the driver's side here, and as you can see, very, very grimy in there. Here's the wheel cylinder. It's been leaking, looks like a long time. So, good thing to do them. And last night I went and dug around up top for some shoes for these. I'll probably run this, I don't know, we'll see. See how well that cleans up. I might run it through the lathe just to give it a fresh surface. If I'm doing his brakes, I may as well just do the whole thing. There's a guy down island with a hub puller, because I never actually bought one. I never bothered, so I sort of would always swap out the rear ends for newer, but it would be a good tool for me to grab, so I'll probably go grab that later today. And yeah, in the trunk here, oh, I've already brought him out. In the trunk, he had some new shoes for the fronts, which is awesome because his are very worn out. So rather than, I think I got one of his here. Yeah, these are, there's just not much left of them in the center there. Maybe a 1/16 inch. So there's no point putting these back in. They're cracked anyways, so that's good. He's got new ones. I did find some new old stock ones upstairs. The old riveted style. I was just going to throw in there if I couldn't get anything else, but he said, no, I think I got some in the trunk. So that's perfect. And what else is back here? Just a bunch of stuff, some carb stuff. Got a cool old 62 license plate. I'd be running that up front, but he's got it in the trunk. Yeah, some neat old service parts. He said, oh, I think there's brake parts in the trunk, but unfortunately it's like a rebuild kits for wheel cylinders, which I've done that before, but it's kind of a pain sometimes. It doesn't, you spend a lot of time honing. Oh, some brake clean. Awesome, I can use that. You spend a lot of time honing the drums, or you spend a lot of time honing the wheel cylinders, and they're usually pitted. That's why they leak. So when you can get new ones for less than 20 bucks, just go that route. These drums are in great shape. I only had to do 2 passes on them to clean them up. So I've got some bearings here, new bearings with races, and a new wheel seal, or a dust seal, whatever you want to say. So I'll replace those, get this reassembled, and move on to the passenger side. And passenger side, back together, new wheel cylinder, new brake hose. And again, this brake line came out as well. This hard line just came right out. So that's, so far everything's been going very smooth actually. It looks like somebody obviously maintained this thing. The old brake hose, I thought they were pretty old, but actually this one's 2013 says on there. So about, 11 years old. Change it out anyways while I'm in there. And yeah, so I'm just going to turn that other drum, put this side back together. Alright, here's the second front drum, the passenger side. Same thing, cleaned up really nice. So just gonna knock out these old races, and I've got a couple bearings already greased here, and races. And I don't know about you guys, when I pack my bearings, I basically lay my palm out flat, and then I put some grease on it, and I just take the bearing and I slap it into my hand over and over to force the grease up through the bearings. So, none of that just putting it on the outside and calling it good enough. That's not good enough. I've seen many dry bearings where you can tell they're not even that old, but they just got greased the wrong way. Okay, onto the rears. So I'd already pulled the nut off there. There's a cotter pin and a nut. Right, so normally you have this castle nut and a cotter pin on the end. And then normally this drum is actually, it's got swedges, they call them swedges, sort of hangs onto the studs there, so the hub and the drum are one piece. And you have to use a puller. You put just a regular puller, but it actually bolts on to you use your lug nuts and you basically put it onto these lugs. And then you hit it with the impact and you end up hitting the end, and it just shocks it. It pops the whole thing off because this spline, or this end here of the axle is tapered, and that's how you get that off. But somebody's already beat me to it here. They've knocked the swedges out, so this drum is loose. So I'll just get that off, and won't need to use the puller on these ones. That's too bad. I was hoping to show you guys how to use it, but no worries. Okay, and then this drum's off, so yeah, I didn't have to pull that hub, but these wheel cylinders are also leaking. So I did order them anyways. I'll change them out. Hopefully those lines come out of the rears easy. If not, I'll just have to make some new lines. Not the end of the world. But also surprising under here, looks like somebody's changed the gas tanks, so that's pretty neat. These forward look cars, these Chryslers, the gas tanks they're pretty expensive if you have to replace them. I don't know about a 62, but a buddy of mine wrecked his in his 57 Dodge Mayfair, and I think he said it was just shy of $1,000 to get a gas tank, which is just nuts. But that's what happens when nobody makes them, I guess. Anyhow, I'll get these brakes stripped down and wheel cylinders changed and back together. They're just drum brakes, they're pretty easy. Okay, I got the rear wheel cylinder out. This is the passenger rear. Obviously wasn't even working. You can see all that build up there. That's all rust. Chunks of rust fell out when I pulled the pins out, so wasn't doing anything. They don't even move. I tried pushing on them earlier. So good thing to do the rears. I think he said he's never checked the rears, and the fronts were leaking, so he would just, I'm assuming he would just add brake fluid to the master. Just keep adding it and adding it. So It's coming along. Alright, and now I'm down to, I turned the rear drum on the passenger side so you can see where it turned and then where it didn't touch. It's because it's just a little warped. This one's not bad. I've seen much worse where the turn surface is like, you know, a couple inches long and then the rest of it's just so far out it's not even worth doing. But these are okay. It'll be fine. And I replaced the shoes just with some old ones I had. They were sitting in a box upstairs. They look kind of crappy, but I think they're new. They just sat in a box for years. And I didn't have the right wheel cylinders, or at least I didn't order the right ones. I don't know, I did Rock Auto. So this style is what came, but this is not what came out. What came out is like this. So you can see the bolt pattern there next to each other. Way different. But I did have these ones. These are actually from I think an 8.8 rear end in a Ford Explorer. I had ordered extras when I had that rear end in that 49 Fargo. But they bolt right up to these backing plates and they're actually the same size, so I just used those. Good to use them up. I don't know what these will fit. Maybe my 58 Plymouth or something like that. So this side's done. I'm just going to go do the driver's side. Hope that made sense. You guys watching? Hopefully you could see everything. Just an easy, drum brakes are easy. You just got to remember the orientation they came apart. Always remember that the adjuster cable, or the cable that sort of holds the adjuster plate, that always goes to the rear, no matter what you're doing. And yeah, just lock your shoes in with the plates, the little springs here. Don't forget the parking brake on a Chrysler. They've got this bar that goes across, so you just lock it in with the parking brake arm. And it's pretty simple. There's not much to them. Guys get overwhelmed with drum brakes, but as long as you remember how it came apart. And if you forget, an easy thing to do is just don't take apart both at the same time. If you forget, go look at the other side. It was already together. Check it out, see where the springs go. Yeah, and these tools are great. Get yourself one of these drum brake tools. This end's for going on here and on the pin there and pulling the springs off. And this end, it's got that divot in it that hooks on to that pin, pulls the springs over. So nice, easy to use, just a few tools. And master cylinder's out. So I didn't crawl under there with the camera, but I could see, looking up at the dash, underneath the dash, that it's pretty crusty. Tells you it's been leaking. There's some marks down the firewall. So yeah, I pulled that out. Wasn't the most fun thing. They had the nuts going under the dash, which makes it so much more fun to get out. But I do have a new master cylinder here in the bag here. So I'll put that in. It says right on them, don't bench bleed single master cylinders. Dual masters you do, but singles you don't. And I'll get that back in place. And then I did look up there. Well, I may as well crawl under there. I can show you guys. Maybe this is a common early B-body problem. The car is quite nice under the dash here, but right there's those holes. That's sort of the cowl area where the water runs. Get your fresh air. I don't know what the other side looks like, but I'm assuming it's the same. That is where the water's leaking in, and he's got wet floors, and obviously the windows are condensated from the inside. You know, it's wet in here, it's just damp. So that's what he needs me to fix. I'm still sort of figuring out what I want to do, but we'll get there later. Alright, well, I got the brakes done. I fixed those leaks, and they seem to be working, because those leaks in the cowl, because it rained pretty good last night, and I checked this morning and the floor's still dry, so that's a win so far. I'm just gonna run up to my buddy's house. He did some seat upholstery for me for the dump truck, so I'm gonna go pick those up, pay him, and take this thing for a drive. And it's funny, I started it this morning. I put some gas in it. I had no idea how much gas was in it. The needle pegged all the way past E on empty, and so I just assumed the gauge didn't work. And of course the gauge does work, so that's just how empty it was. I've been moving it around and driving it around the block to see if the brakes are any good, and of course it reads half a tank, so obviously it was just so out of gas. But it seems to run pretty good. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's running really quiet. So that's good. Yeah, if you look down here. Oh, look at that. The gauge does work. Who knew? So it's push button. So it's got park lever. Take it out of park. Into reverse. It's got manual steering, which he was saying he thinks the front end feels loose, but and then push button, so drive. That's as easy as they are. So he thought the front end was loose, but we'll see. Take it up the road here and see what it does. Got this little hula girl right in my face here. Carb's got a little stumble, but nothing too bad. Seems to get better when it warms up. Temp gauge is always stuck in the center there, so I don't know what the actual temperature is. But we got a working speedometer. Oh, there's the dash lights came on. It's got that green sort of glowing dash light, doing about 45, 50 miles an hour. The ammeter seems to be working. Oh, and check this, the factory radio works.
This weekend, plan accordingly, TransLink is ready for the...
That's pretty cool. Factory AM Chrysler radio from 1962, still working. I hope this young guy appreciates this car. It's not a 90s Honda Civic. This is a 62-year-old Plymouth that everything still works inside. I hope he knows. And it's complete. I mean, everything's in it. The door panels look pretty good. Still got the original floor mat. Nice and dry now. No more water. This used to be a lake down here. And the front end, I mean, we were just doing 50 miles an hour. It feels pretty tight to me. It's about as good as it's going to get. Like the steering wheel, I don't even have to move it. Keep it going straight down the road. You know, it's not doing the old back and forth where you're trying to keep it straight. Heater works almost too well. I'm cooking already. Wonder if the horn works. Yep. And the brakes work great. I do have to adjust the shoes. The pedal travels a little further than I'd like, but they are grabbing, and I know that all four corners are actually stopping now. All four wheels, sorry. Oh yeah, the stumble's gone. Once the car warms up, no more stumble. That's good. What a sweet little car. It's a Canadian car, so it's got the Dodge emblem here. It's a Plymouth, but the Canadian Plymouth's got the Dodge interior from a 62 Dart. I just picked up my seats. I'll show you guys when I get home. I gave him a set of, it was a bench seat from a mid-70s Dart, 4-door Dodge Dart. And the springs and the foam were actually in great shape. It just needed recovering. One spot of foam under the driver's side, you know, where you sit, it was obviously worn out, but he just cut a new piece in. But I'll show you guys when I get home. But I'm pretty impressed. You know, he didn't just buy covers online and wrap them over the seats for me. I mean, he bought a couple yards of black vinyl and some sort of textured stuff for the middle and stitched it all together on his sewing machine. And I've tried that. I've had an old, I mean, mind you, my sewing machine was like 100 years old. It was an old Singer, and the foot pedal was hard to use, but I did try and do seat repair, and it is way harder than I mean, I knew it would be hard, but it is way harder than I thought it would be. So for him to stitch me up some seats, and I mean, it only really took him like a week, and he gave me the friend deal, which I won't say how much it was, but let's just say it was a smoking deal. So I'm excited to get those into the dump truck, and I wonder if he'll honor the friend deal for another few cars that I have. Probably not. I don't want to overdo it and piss him off. There used to be like a 70 Nova parked in that field there for years and years. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, this thing just cruises along. We're doing, well, it's headed up to 60. He was worried that the front end was worn out, but oh, this thing is really tight. I would daily drive this in a heartbeat. I hope he watches this video and understands how good of a car this is. This guy in the corner here, he's got that old, it's a 58 Edsel wagon, and I'm thinking about getting it. It's behind the fence over there. It's an Edsel Villager wagon. It's pretty neat. Let's see if I can get it from him, and I think it's from the States, so I don't think it has any paperwork, so that'd be the only catch, but just the horn emblem you guys can hear bouncing around there. I got the idle turned up just a little bit. It was a little stumbly this morning. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching Thanks for watching, and I appreciate everybody who's commented, subscribed, left feedback, and yeah, so another cool old Plymouth. I guess I should show those seats before I... Look at those. Here, I'll get them out of the car here and give you one look. Okay, there they are. Or, there it is. So yeah, he did everything. I mean, none of this was a cover that he just pulled over the seat. I mean, this was separate from this. He stitched it all on his machine. Same with the seat back. Did a split down the middle. I just had said, oh, just give me some flat black like this, just all the way across, as cheap as possible. I mean, it's just going in that dump truck there. But he said, well, this will look nicer, and it's not expensive. This stuff comes kind of pre-made with these lines and stuff, so shows what I know. I don't do upholstery. So I said, yeah, sure, go for it. So stitched me up some beautiful seats. I am super happy. And he said, well, that was just the buddy price and the buddy quality. He said, you know, like, he thought there were spots that looked a little loose. It looks great to me. I am super happy. So anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. Watching that cool 62 Plymouth come around. So I guess the young guy's got a 59 Dodge. I don't know what it is, a Coronet maybe? It's a 4-door. It's a car. He wants me to do a bunch of work on it next. And then also, he's got a 55 Oldsmobile. And it's a bit of a project, but he also talked about bringing it here, so we'll see. But thanks for watching, keep subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.